There are more statues of this man than almost anyone who has ever lived, and nobody knows who carved the first one. Not roughly, not approximately. It is still argued about, and the argument is over 100 years old. Because for 400 years after he died, nobody carved him at all. The Buddha was shown as an empty seat, a pair of footprints, a wheel, a tree with nobody sitting under it. You could carve the crowd, you could carve the moment, you could not carve the man. Some scholars link that to a line in the Buddhist texts discouraging images of him after his death. Others point out there is no clear scriptural instruction anywhere. Either way, for 4 centuries it did not happen. Then, around the 1st century, it did, and it happened in 2 places at once: Gandhara, in what is now Pakistan and Afghanistan, and Mathura, in northern India. Gandhara had been Greek territory. Alexander's armies came through in the 4th century before Christ, and Greek kingdoms stayed for generations after. And the Gandhara Buddha looks like it, wavy hair, carved the way a Greek god is carved. A heavy robe falling in deep folds over both shoulders like a toga. Sandals, Mediterranean proportions, eyes lowered, turned inward. The Mathura Buddha looks nothing like that. Red sandstone, broad shoulders, a thick neck, a robe so thin you can see the body through it, one shoulder left bare, and the eyes are open, looking straight back at you. Those sculptors were not copying anybody. They had been carving yakshas, Indian nature spirits, for 200 years already. The Mathura Buddha is one of those figures, put in a monk's robe. 2 Buddhas, 2 traditions, same century. So which came first? In the early 1900s, a French scholar named Alfred Foucher answered it: Gandhara. He invented the phrase Greco-Buddhist art. He called the Greek-looking Buddhas the most beautiful and the most ancient. The idea travelled fast. Europe, it turned out, had given India the face of its own teacher. 20 years later, an Indian art historian named Ananda Coomaraswamy published the opposite. Mathura first. Indian origin. No Greek required. That was 1927. India was still under British rule, so this was never only a question about sculpture. It was a question about who invents things argued between 2 men on opposite sides of an empire. Now, here is where it gets genuinely difficult. The Mathura Buddhas carry dated inscriptions cut into the stone. One of them names the 3rd year of the Emperor Kanishka. Not one Gandhara Buddha does. That sounds decisive. It is not. Because Kanishka minted coins with the Buddha's image on them. That proves Gandharan images existed in his reign without needing a single inscription. And the earliest Gandharan sculpture of this kind has been placed in the century before Mathura started. And the dates themselves are unstable. Kanishka's reign is anchored either to the year 127 or to the year 78, depending on which scholar you ask, a 50-year gap sitting underneath every date anybody quotes. So the honest answer is that we do not know. And people who tell you they do are usually telling you something about themselves. There is one more thing that both sides tended to leave out. Gandhara and Mathura were not rival countries. They were both inside the Kushan Empire. Both were capitals of it. Artists moved between them. Styles moved between them in both directions for centuries. Within 100 years, Mathura sculptors were carving robes over both shoulders, the way Gandhara did. The face that eventually reached China and Korea and Japan, and the statue on somebody's shelf in Ohio was not purely one thing or the other. It was made in a place where a Greek kingdom and an Indian tradition had been living beside each other for 300 years. Nobody handed India the Buddha's face, and India did not make it sealed off from the world. That is a bigger story than either version, and it is the one the evidence actually supports. One last thing worth carrying. When somebody tells you confidently who invented something first, who had it before anyone else, who gave it to whom, it is always worth asking who was running the world on the day they said it. Every country has an Indian chapter. This has been one of them. Join the Dharma room.